Good morning. So in Mumbai yesterday we had major power outages. So yeah, I couldn't come out with a video yesterday. But here we are back again on track for our CAT preparation, and we are continuing our CAT questions discussion. Today we'll do maths. Before we get into that, guys, here's a quick introduction. Hi, I'm Munira Lokhandwala, and I'm Calcutta alumna, a serial 100 percentiler in CAT and a 99 percentiler in GMAT. I also have a CAT verbal book published by Wiley and available on Amazon. You can find me on the Unacademy YouTube Crack Cat channel. This is the channel, right? And within that, you have to actually also find me on the Unacademy app also. So please go to the Play Store, Unacademy Learning app के लिए ढूंढिए, download and install, and you have to go for the CAT courses. CATMAP, once you subscribe to the Plus courses, guys, there are numerous advantages. Ek to you can decide which batch you want to go for. And why one batch? You can decide to be a part of multiple batches, right? You can decide which teacher, what time. You can repeat a lecture numerous times. All lectures are available to be viewed also. So you have immense freedom, immense flexibility for your studies. And you can also decide the pace of your studies. Besides this, guys, we are also launching test series for each and every management entrance exam. So really, this is the best platform at a fraction of the price, right, compared to other possible players in the market, correct? So please go ahead, subscribe. कौन सा subscription लेना है? We can talk about this towards the end of the class. You can use my code Munira10 to get a 10% discount, right? So great, let's now start off with the maths questions. This is the first question, guys. Let D be a recurring decimal. So recurring decimal is a decimal that just continues forever, right? So यहाँ पे you have A1, A2, A1, A2, A1, A2 forever. This is also denoted by putting a bar on the recurring digits, right? So we know that this means that A1, A2 just keeps repeating forever. Now you may have learned of this thumb rule, guys. Okay, whenever you have a recurring on two numbers, so just divide by 99. Take that number, divide by 99, that's your fraction. So for example, if I have to find, let's look at another example. कि ये क्या है? तो यहाँ पे 3 numbers के ऊपर recurring है. So you can just write this as ABC over 999. Correct? And logic ये है कि basically when you start off with something like this, right? To find what fraction it is, you need two numbers that have the same recurring form. So this is your first number, correct? Let this number be x. And then if you find out 1000x also, it is going to be ABC dot ABC recurring. तो ये recurring तो चलता ही जाएगा. एक ABC निकलेगा, तो your recurring is not going to change. Now I have two numbers with the same recurring. When I subtract them, that recurring will cancel, right? So you get ABC is equal to 999x. यहाँ से logic आता है. And hence x is ABC over 999. तो यहाँ पे भी, you know, this is D. 100D is going to be A1, A2 into A1 dot A1, A2 recurring. तो ये जब आप subtract करोगे, तो you get 99 times D is equal to A1, A2. And hence D is an integer A1, A2 divided by 99. So if I want to change it into from a rational number into a proper integer, I need to multiply by 99 or a multiple of 99. So which of these options is the multiple of 99? ये नहीं है, ये भी नहीं है. This is a multiple of 99. This is your answer. D is also not a multiple of 99, right? So guys, your answer is option C. Great. Let's look at the next question. You have x is taking different values, consecutive values, and y is taking different values. Correct? And you want to find out the relationship between x and y. So if you look at options, clearly you can eliminate option C, because in this case, y, if x is rational, y will be irrational, which it is not, right? It's an integer. I anyways always eliminate none of these. So you're left with two options. So you can check कि क्या कोई linear function बन सकता है, right? or you can actually try and find out some relationship between x and y. But all of that is quite tedious. Okay, so the way you should solve these questions is, if you have to find out कि कौन सा relationship है. Okay, so let's say you have a equation like y is equal to 3x plus 7, linear equation. Okay, let's put values for x here as 1, 2, 3 till 6, and let's see what kind of values we get for y. So when x is equal to 1, y is equal to 10. When x is equal to 2, y is equal to 13. X is 3, y is 16, 19, 22 and 25, right? So whenever you have a linear equation, you'll notice that the difference is always constant. Right? So यहाँ पे हर जगह पे the difference is 3. And not only is the difference constant, this difference will give you your x coefficient. Obviously, right? Every time you move by 1, y is going to move by 1 into its coefficient. Correct? So यहाँ से आपको पता चल जाता है that y is equal to 3x plus some constant. You can substitute x equal to anything and compare. Like you can substitute x equal to 5. Correct? यहाँ I'm looking at this particular column, right? So you'll get y is equal to 7. आपको मिल जाएगा. So the main important thing is कि अगर पहला difference ही constant आ जाता है, that means it is a linear equation. Linear matlab this form. Now in our question, if you see, अपने question में first difference is not a constant. 4, 8, 14, 22, 32 and 44. The first difference is 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Is it a constant? No. So it is not linear. So यहाँ पे भी you could mark option B, move on. But जो डिग्री होगा इक्वेशन का वो वाला डिफरेंस कांस्टेंट होगा. तो यहाँ पे देखिए सेकेंड डिफरेंस इज कांस्टेंट, सो जो इक्वेशन का डिग्री है वो होगा क्वाड्रेटिक. एंड नॉट जस्ट दैट, इफ यू डिवाइड दिस बाय 2 you will get the coefficient of x square. So if you have to solve this, right, you can from here only, if you divide, why are we dividing by 2? थोड़ी लंबी कहानी है, पर बेसिकली x स्क्वायर का डेरिवेटिव इज 2x, तो वहां से वी आर डिवाइडिंग बाय 2. तो x का कोएफिशिएंट विल बी 1. दैट मींस योर एक्चुअल, अगर आपको पता भी करना है, इट इज गोइंग टू बी a plus bx plus x स्क्वायर. अब a और b पता करना है तो x स्क्वायर इसमें से सब्ट्रैक्ट कर दो. So if I subtract x square from each of these values, 4 becomes 3, 8 becomes 4, 14 becomes 5, 22 becomes 6, 32 becomes 7, and 44 becomes 8. Now if I take the difference, I will get the x coefficient. So x coefficient is 1, and then we can just substitute. So if you just check this equation out, guys, this is y is equal to x square plus x plus 2. ये सब की जरूरत नहीं है. We are just doing something extra because we are learning something interesting and new, right? The important thing is to see that it's not exponential, it is not linear, so it has to be option B, right? Let's move on to the next question. A1 is all this. So what is A100? So we have done these questions, right? ये question मैंने बोला भी है CAT में, it has repeated, right? They have just changed the numbers and they have repeated the question. So obviously nobody wants you to do this hard work of finding A100. We have to rewrite each and every term with respect to 100, right? कि अगर ये A100 नहीं पूछते हमसे और AN पूछते, तो फिर option A कैसा दिखता? It would be 5 into 2 raised to n minus 1. जब 100 है तो यहाँ 99 है, minus 6. This will be 5 into 2 raised to n minus 1 plus 6. This is going to be 6 into 2 raised to n minus 1 plus 5. And final is going to be 6 into 2 raised to n minus 1 minus 1. Right? These are the 4 options that we get. Now, we can easily substitute a1 is equal to 1 and put n is equal to 1, right? If you feel कि यहाँ पे, in fact, I generally don't like putting n is equal to 1, right? Because a raised to 1 is equal to a itself, and it is damn confusing, right? A raised to n will become a if you put n equal to 1. So let's find out what a2 is. So a2 is going to be 2 into a1, right? Plus 5. So it is going to be 7. So when I put n is equal to 2 in these 4 options, I should get my answer to be 7. So we put n is equal to 2 here. So what do we get? 5 into 2 minus 6. This is not 7. Right? And anyways, I want an odd number. So यहाँ पे भी 7 नहीं आएगा. It has to be one of these. So 6 into 2 plus 5 is 17, but 6 into 2 minus 5 is 7. That is your answer, option D. Right? Great. Let's move on to the fourth question. What is the value of the following expression? So if you start off, guys, this is going to be 1 over 3 into 5, right? I can rewrite 2 square minus 1 as 2 minus 1 into 2 plus 1. So the first term, in fact, won't be 3 into 5, it will be 3 into 1 or 1 into 3. Let's just. So it's going to be 1 into 3. The second term is going to be 3 into 5. So it's going to be 4 minus 1 into 4 plus 1. Third one is going to be 5 into 7. 6 plus 1, 6 minus 1, and so on. Ending with 20 plus 1 and 20 minus 1. So this is equal to. Now I need to get things cancelled. तो देखो यहाँ पे भी 3 है, यहाँ पे भी 3 है, यहाँ पे 5 है, वहाँ पे 5 है, right? The problem is that I cannot do too much with 1 over 1.3, but instead if I have 2 over 1.3, I can rewrite this as 1.3 मतलब 1 into 3. Okay, I can rewrite this as 3 minus 1 over 3 into 1. So this becomes 1 by 1 minus 1 by 3. And this we can do for all of them. So 1 over 3 into 5 can be written as half, right? I've just multiplied and divided by half. यहाँ पे भी half है. And once you get 2, you can write it as 5 minus 3 over 3 into 5. And when you break it up, you get 1 by 3 minus 1 by 5. और यहाँ पहले का जो negative 1 by 3 will cancel with the positive 1 by 3. Right? So first of all, you have to divide and multiply by 2. सब पे 2 डाल दो. And then we can rewrite this as 1 by 1 minus 1 by 3 plus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 5 plus 1 by 5 minus 1 by 7 and so on. Last May you will get 1 by 19 minus 1 by 21. So everything will get cancelled except the first term and the last term. So you will be left with half times 1 minus 1 by 21, which is 20 by 21, and multiplied by half will give you 10 by 21. So answer is option C. Right? Great. Let's move on to the next question. A truck traveling at 50 kilometers per hour uses 30% more diesel to travel a certain distance than it does when it travels at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour. Okay. So the diesel used increases in the ratio 10 is to 13, right? 30% more means 100 के बजाय you are using 130. So it's increasing in the ratio 10 is to 13. That means in the same diesel, the distance that you will travel will decrease in the ratio 13 is to 10. Okay, so if at 50 you can travel 19.5, because you have increased your speed 70, right? This is now per liter. Because you have increased your speed, your distance is going to become 10 by 13 of the original distance that you will travel per liter. So it is going to become 15. So in 10 liters, you will travel 150. Right? Great. Next question. Consider a sequence of 7 consecutive integers. The average of the first 5 integers is n. So पहले 5 integer का average कहाँ आता है? यहाँ पे. So ये है n. अब 7 integer आप पकड़ोगे तो एवरेज आ जाएगा यहाँ पे. अगर ये n है तो ये क्या होगा? n plus 1. Right? Average is always the middle term. So answer is going to be B. Don't get too much into equations. Don't do all that. Right? पहले 5 term का बीच में, पहले 7 term का भी बीच में. So third we are moving to the fourth term. So n becomes n plus 1. Next, if x is greater than 2 and y is greater than 1, then which of the following statements is true? So if x is greater than 2 and y is greater than minus 1. Right? So you will get, if you multiply this, you will get xy greater than minus 2. जो यहाँ पे हमें नहीं दिख रहा है. Right? So we can see option A here, xy is greater than minus 2. But we have to understand that x is positive. Y can be between 0 and minus 1 also. So if I multiply, correct, a number like x is equal to 100 and y is equal to minus 0.5, then xy is equal to minus 50 and xy is not greater than minus 2. So option 1 goes off. Right? I can also have x as 3 and y as 10. Y can be, right? So xy can be 30 also. So xy need not be less than minus 2. So these दोनों options don't work out simply because y can take value, right, from minus 1 to 0 also and then 0 to positive also. So y can be positive, y can be negative, x can be as big as possible. Correct? So both of these options knocked off. Now let's look at B or D. Okay. So minus x, x is positive, so minus x is going to be negative. And 2y if I compare. Okay. So if y is positive, then this will always be true. If y is negative also, 2y is going to be constrained by minus 2 and minus x is greater than minus 2. Sorry, minus x is a bigger negative number than minus 2, which means whether x is positive or, whether y is positive or negative, minus x will always be less than 2y. So here option B is the best answer. Yahan to obviously this is out because minus x is always negative and 2y can be positive or negative, right? So answer is option B. 1 red flag, 3 white flags and 2 blue flags are arranged in a line such that no 2 adjacent flags are of the same color. The flags at the 2 ends of the line are of different colors. In how many different ways can the flags be arranged? So if I have 3 colors here, 1 red, 3 white and 2 blue. Okay. Then to ensure that no 2 adjacent flags are of the same color, our primary problem is going to be the 3 whites. ये red और blue तो वैसे भी कम है. So I have to ensure कि white के बीच में there are gaps. Now there are two gaps, right? The first one can be a dusra color, so this is one possibility. Or the other possibility is something like this. These are the two possibilities. Okay. So great. Let's start off. I need to ensure that they are of different colors. So वो तो होगा ही. Correct? Because one of them is going to be white and the other of them is not going to be white. So the two ends of the line are of different colors is ensured. Okay. So यहाँ पे you can get something like red, blue, blue. So there are three ways in which I can put the red color. Either first place, second place or third place. I can also put red here. So यहाँ पे भी there are three ways. So three ways here and three ways here. Right? So answer is going to be 6 ways. We could potentially, if I want to separate them, I could have white, something like this also. But then I will have two whites, which is not possible. So anywhere, if you're putting two colors between two whites, it can only happen if the whites start and finish, which is not possible, right? So these are the only two ways. Each of them gives three possibilities. Ke red aap kahan pe rakhoge? To bacha hua place will be taken by blue. So answer is going to be 6 ways. Option A. 9th. Let S be the set of integers x such that 100 less than equal to x less than equal to 200. X is odd and x is divisible by 3 but not by 7. Okay, so we start off with first multiple of 3 starting with 100, odd multiple. So that number is 105. Right? Forget the not by 7 right now. Ye zaruri hai. X is odd, x is divisible by 3. So in some sense you are looking at odd multiple of 3. So after 105, the next one is going to be 111. So it's good that you think of this first of all, not just as multiples of 3, but as multiples of 6. Why? Because after the first, you're going to get the second, not at a gap of 3, but at a gap of 6, because usko odd rakhna hai. So I can write this as 6 into 17 plus 3. Right? So this is going to be 6 into 18 plus 3 and so on. Last number jo hoga, wo ye hoga, which is 6 into 24. Is it? 6 into 24? 192, 6 into 32 plus 3. So how many numbers do we have here? Starting from 17, ending with 32, we have 16 numbers. But these will also include multiples of 7. So how many multiples of 7 are there? There is 105. Correct? And again, we'll have to see this as multiples of 14. So this is 14 into 7 plus 7. That's the first multiple. And then the last multiple is going to be 189, which is 14 into 13 plus 7. So कितने हमारे पास numbers आए multiples of 7 starting from 7 ending with 13. We got 7 such numbers. So divisible by 3 but not by 7. Right? All of these numbers are not divisible by 7, but they should also be divisible by 3. So your first number is 105. Then you have 126. So this is faster, right? Just adding 21. But this is not odd. So the next number is 147. This is odd. So if you add 42, 189, there are 3 such numbers. So out of 16, you subtract these 3 numbers, the answer is 13. Right? Great. 10th question. Let x, y, and z be distinct that are odd and positive. which one of the following statements cannot be true? So तीनों odd है तो ये तो odd ही होगा. So this has to be true. ये even होगा, दो odd number का sum even होता है and then you multiply, तो ये even होगा. This also has to be true. ये भी even होगा because difference is even, correct? पर ये even होना चाहिए, not odd. So D cannot be true. D is false. If this is a little confusing, you can also put numbers, right? You can put x is equal to 5, y is equal to 3, and z is equal to 7. Don't put 1 anywhere. And don't put equal numbers. Right? So if you notice, option D will always be even, not odd. So D is false. Next. Let S be the set of prime numbers greater than or equal to 2 and less than 100. Multiply all elements of S. How many consecutive zeros will the product end in? To get a 0, guys, what do we need? We need a 10. But 10 is composite. So 10 to nahi aayega. Another way to get a 0 is to get 2 and 5. 2 bhi hai prime, 5 bhi hai prime. So ye aayenge. Kitni baar aayenge? When I have all these numbers starting from greater than equal to 2, then I have the next prime 3, then I have 5 and 7 and so on. 2 bhi ek hi dafa aayega in this list and 5 will come just once. So when you multiply each of these numbers together, you get a product ending in 0 exactly once. So answer is option A, 1. Next question. What is the number of distinct triangles with integral valued sides and perimeter 14? Okay. So you have to start with the smallest possibility. Okay, let's say 1 is one of the numbers, correct? Now, the other number, what do we have to always ensure? That if I have A, B and C, then pick up any one like C has to lie between A plus B and A minus B. Right? If A is greater than B, then C has to lie between the difference and the sum. Okay, so 1 is one of the numbers. If I now 14 means I have used 1, I am left with 13. So the closest I can get the 13 is 6 and 7. And this also is not going to satisfy this property. Because 7 minus 6 is equal to 1. There's a strict inequality here. Equality not allowed. Okay. Other, if you look at them far away, so it's going to be worse, right? ये तो होगा ही नहीं triangle. So 1 पे कुछ नहीं बनेगा. Next you try for is 2. So 2 से बनेगा 2, 6, 6. If you pick up 6, 6 is less than the sum 8 and greater than the difference 4. Correct? If you try any other thing with 2, like if you try, for example, instead of 6 and 6, you try, let us say, 5 and 7. तो वही प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है कि 7 minus 5 equal to 2. तो ये 6 के साथ एक ही बनेगा. Then next is 3 के साथ. So you have 11 left. So 3, 5, 6 बनेगा. Right? And if the next one 3, 4, 7 नहीं बनेगा, again that same problem कि 7 is equal to 3 plus 4. So 3 के साथ भी there is just 1. Then with 4, I can have 4, 5, 5. I can have 4, 4, 6. Okay. Now we don't need to check for 5 and 6 because we have already checked for them in the past. We have to ensure that the smallest is here. So if 5 is the smallest, so 5, 5, 5, 5 itself becomes 15. So वो तो होगा नहीं. So this is where you can stop checking. Answer is 4 possible values. Right? Let n be all this. What is the remainder when n is divided by 12? So just find the remainders individually. The number is clearly odd. So when I divide by an even number, the remainder has to be odd. So ये दोनों तो निकल गए. But इसके बाद you'll have to solve, right? So if I see 1421 you divide by 12. Correct? So we get 221, 216. So the remainders are 5, 7 and 9. Right? So you can rewrite this as 7 into 9, 63. And this is nothing but remainder 3. 5 into 3, 15, which leaves remainder 3. Right? Next, the integers when divided by a 3-digit integer leaves the same remainder. So if we find out 340, let's say this is equal to the 3-digit number k into some quotient, and it leaves remainder r. 32506 also can be written as same 3-digit integer, right? K, let us say, another quotient plus the same remainder. Now if you ever want to get rid of the same thing, right, in both quantities, just subtract. So you will get k into k1 minus k2. So if you subtract here, you will get 5, 35, 1535. So which 3-digit number from here can be written as 1535 into something? That can only be option D, right? 307 into 5 is equal to 1535. Next, each of the numbers is equal to 1 or minus 1. Suppose all this is 0. Now, if I have one number, since the numbers are either 1 or minus 1, I will have the product also to be 1 or minus 1. When will I get 0? I need at least 2 terms. So then 1 can cancel off with minus 1, or minus 1 can cancel off with plus 1. Correct? So x1, x2, x3, this is very easily possible, guys. Let's say we take all of these to be 1. So पहला product 1 आ जाएगा. And then you say, ये minus 5 तो दूसरा product minus 1 हो जाएगा. They'll cancel each other out. So 5 तो allowed है. तो n even ज़रूरी नहीं है. Odd multiple of 3 ज़रूरी नहीं है. n is odd. n is prime. तो ये तो कोई भी odd number के साथ होगा. So if you go to x6, again you will have 3 terms. But x7 के साथ again some cancellation can take place. Right? So answer is n is odd. The table below shows the age-wise distribution of the population of Reposia. The number of people aged below 35 years is 400 million. If the ratio of females to males in the below 15 age group is 0.96, what is the number of females in that age group? So it's a very tedious question. पहले तो ये पूरा breakup दिया है, correct? Of 100% के कितने हैं below 15, कितने हैं 15 to 24. So 30% people, for instance, are below 15 years old. Okay, we are told कि यहाँ तक की जो values है, they add up to 400 million. So these values, if we find out, this is 64.75. So this is approximately 400 million. In fact, exactly 400 million. So the whole population, 100%. Right? That is going to be equal to 400 over 0.6475. So 400 by 0.64. So it's 1 by 16. You will get 625 million. तो ये 625 से थोड़ा कम होगा. Let's say it's around 618 million. तो 30% अभी पूरा population is 618 million. Below 15 years का is 30%. So I have to find 30% of this. 0.3 into this. So this works out to 1854. 185.4. So female to males is 0.96. That means it's 24:25. So answer is going to be 24/49. Right? Total 49. So around half से कम. Right? तो ये दोनों तो बहुत छोटे हैं. We'll have to do a little more work between these two values. Answer works out to option B. Right? You can just do a 0.5 and a 1 year. So you have to find out 24.5% of 185 point, right? Or 49% of 185.4. So 50% is 92, 93 in fact, and 1% is around 18.5. So ऐसा करके you will reach 90.8 but not 90. Right? So answer is option B. Sam has forgotten his friend's 7-digit telephone number. He remembers that the following, the first 3 digits are either 635, 7 digit, तो उसके बाद 4 digit, और 674. The number is odd and the number 9 appears once. Okay, तो हम इस पे काम करेंगे and we'll multiply it with 2 because whatever works here has to work here. So the number 9 appears once can happen here. तो वो नंबर ऑड भी हो गया, 9 भी हो गया, करेक्ट. डिस्टिंक्ट डिजिट है कि नहीं, वी डोंट नो. So we'll assume that the digits are not distinct. So यहाँ पे if 9 comes here, then there are 3,000 possibilities. Sorry, 1,000 possibilities. Right? 10 here, 10 here, 10 here. Then if 9 is not here, 9 is somewhere else. तो ये odd है, so this can be filled in 5 ways. 9 कहाँ पे आएगा? That can be decided in 3 ways. And the remaining 2 ways can be filled by any of the digits in 100 square ways. तो यहाँ बन जाता है अपने पास 1500. But in this, we have forgotten one thing, that the number 9 appears once. So 9 cannot appear here. If 9 is coming in any of these 3 places, 9 cannot appear here. So you will get 4. Right? So that's 1200. So totally, you get 2200. Right? Into 4. So the answer works out to be option B. ABC are 3 numbers. This means you're talking about the average of AB. This means product of AB, and this means dividing by AB. So sum of A and B is given as A plus B. Which of these gives us the sum? If I take the average and I multiply by 2, and how is multiplication? It is given by division. So answer is option A. If you check this value out, it is basically A plus B by 2 and into half. So that is not going to work. This is A by B and 2 ka average. That is not going to work. Right? And this is AB plus 2 का average. So C also is not going to work. Answer is going to be option A. Average of A, B and C is given by. So A, B and C का average is basically A plus B plus C divided by 3. Right? So now let's start with options. Let's start again with the first one. Because bahar average sign is better than seeing a product sign outside, right? I'd rather go for a B or an A. Product sign can work if it's multiplied by 1 by 3. जो 1 by 3 मुझे दिख नहीं रहा, right? So we'll start off with options A and B first. So starting right from inside, this is product. So you have B A plus 2. तो problem हो जाएगा. इसका पहले आप average ले रहे हैं. Correct? So this now takes care of all this. Then you have C, the product. So all this is messy. This is not going to work out. Correct? Let's look at option B. You start off with A or B, the average, and then you multiply by 3. Correct? So this takes care of all this. And then you find iska average with C. So now we are here. And divide this whole thing by 2. So that is not going to work. Again, this is going to be a problem. Correct? Let's try for option C now. So we'll start from here. So it's average of B plus A by 2. And then you have division by 2. So into half. And then you have division by C. Problem. So ये भी नहीं होगा. Okay. Let's now finally try for option D. तो पहले है A और B का एवरेज, फिर आप उसको 2 से मल्टीप्लाई करते हो. दैट इज वेरी गुड. तो 2 कैंसिल हो जाता है. सो नाउ यू आर लेफ्ट विद A plus B. ओके. नाउ A plus B का फिर आप एवरेज निकालते हो with C. So that becomes A plus B is one quantity, C is the other quantity, so divide by 2 because they're just two quantities. Okay. Then you have to multiply, divide by 3, and finally you multiply by 2. So the 2 cancels off and average is given by option D. Right? Great, let's move on. Positive square root, f of x either gives us the positive square root of x plus y if the positive square root is there, which means that x plus y is positive. If x plus y is negative, it gives you the square. G उल्टा करता है, अगर वो x plus y positive है तो it squares it, right? Otherwise it makes it negative. So if it is negative, it multiplies by -1 and makes it positive. Okay, so which of the following expression yields a positive value for every pair of non-zero real numbers? Right? I will start by looking at option D. Right? Because I have two pluses. So f of x plus y, whether I get the positive square root or whether I get x plus y the whole square, f of x plus y is always positive. G of x plus y also, यहाँ पे भी it is positive. as we said, right, कि if x plus y is negative, तो minus से positive कर देता है. So both are going to give you positive values. So answer is option D. Under which of the following conditions is f of x necessarily greater than g of x? So there's nothing to do with x and y. Correct? Let's look at options. So both x and y are less than minus 1. Correct? So if x and y are less than minus 1, let's say they are minus 2, minus 2. Then f will give you 4. F of minus 2 gives you 4. And g gives you plus 4. So they are equal in some sense. So necessarily greater than x comma y? No, I'm getting equal. Both x and y are positive. So let us say you take 3 and 3. So f of x comma y will give you root 6. G of x comma y gives you 36. So यहाँ पे x necessarily greater? No, in fact x is less, so b is also out. Both x and y are negative. उसका भी हमने देखा कि -2 -1 में it was not working out. Right? So this was actually a problem with an error. यहाँ पे answer is none of these. Next question. F is defined as all this, F, H, M, G, H, all this, okay? So what will we do is, we will find out each of them, right? Let's say that the three values, X, Y, and Z, correct? I want to say that this three values is made up of smallest, largest, and neither, beach wala. So F gives you minimum of the maximums. Okay, so maximum in two of the cases will be the largest, and in one case will be neither. And minimum of these three will be neither. So F will give you the beach wala number. G will also give you the beach wala number, because minimum in two cases will be the smallest, right? When you take smallest, largest, minimum is smallest. When you take smallest, neither, minimum is smallest. Only when you have largest, neither, right, is the minimum going to be neither. So ये सब का maximum, G will also give you neither. Maximum of maximum is going to give you largest. Minimum of minimum has to give you the smallest. M gives you the largest. And N gives you the smallest. So now you can solve, right? Which of the following is necessarily greater than 1? So H, C to out hai na, because F and G are equal, so this is not, this is equal to 1. J is smallest and H is largest, this is less than 1. Okay, let's look at A. A gives us neither, or largest actually, minus neither divided by smallest. Now the problem with this is that if I have numbers like 1, 2, 3, this will give us 3 minus 2 over 1, which is equal to 1. But if I have 4, 5, 6, this will give us 6 minus 5 over 4, which is less than 1, right? So A is also out. So D is the best option. If you check for D, what does D give you? It gives you neither plus h. What is h? Plus largest minus neither. तो neither तो cancel हो जाता है. And then you're dividing by the smallest. So largest over smallest will be greater than 1. But again, let me remind you that यहाँ पे भी actually cat में there is an error. Because this is going to be generally true for x, y and z as positive. If x, y, z are negative, right, the largest can be plus 1 and the smallest can be minus 5, right? And यहाँ पे you don't get necessarily greater than 1. So यहाँ पे also actually there's an error. So anyway, we'll go ahead assuming that x, y, z are positive and then the answer is D, right? Now let's solve for the next question. I can't erase everything because we already have all those values written. Which of the following expressions is necessarily equal to 1? So f minus m is equal to neither minus largest. f और g equal है, m और h equal है, तो ये तो 1 होना ही है. मार्क कर दो, don't even check, right? f is equal to g and m is equal to h. They have to be equal to 1. Correct? So answer is option A. Which of the following expressions is indeterminate? So f is equal to g and h is equal to j? No. So I can't find the value unless and until I know x, y, z. If you check now, option B, you have f plus h, which is neither twice. Correct? So if I just now check this, you get neither. Let me do it on top. Plus h is largest, g is again neither, and j is smallest. Divided by, again j is smallest, h is largest, minus largest minus smallest. So यहाँ पे denominator बन रहा है 0 and hence B is indeterminate because, right, you are dividing by 0. Nowhere else are you dividing by 0. Right? Great. Let's look at 25 and 26. There are 5 machines A, B, C, D, E situated on a straight line. So you have 5 machines. तो सब में distance 10 meters का है. A robot is stationed at the origin of the line. तो यहाँ पे robot है. तो ये सब, this is all 10, this is 10, right? And यहाँ पे 20, B के लिए 20 हो गया, C के लिए 30, D के लिए 40, E के लिए 50. The robot serves the machines with raw material whenever a machine becomes idle. All the raw materials are located at the origin. This robot जहाँ पे है वहीं पे origin भी है. Robot idle होता है as soon as one or more machines become idle, they send messages and the robot starts and serves all the machine. तो अगर तीनों मशीन से आता है तो तीनों मशीन का रॉ मटेरियल वो एक साथ लेके सर्व कर देगा. If a message is received at the station while the robot is away from it, the robot takes notice of the message only when it returns. While moving, it serves the machines in the sequence in which they are encountered and then returns back to the origin. तो अगर मैसेज B और C और D ने दिया है तो पहले B को देगा, फिर C को, फिर D को. If any messages are pending at the station, when it returns, it repeats the process again. Otherwise, it remains idle at the origin till the next message is received. Okay, so it's a very peaceful question. It's just too long, but ये robot है, उसका speed अभी तक कुछ दिया नहीं है, correct, of walking. That I guess will be given with the question. So suppose on a certain day, machines A and D have sent the first two messages. At the beginning of the first second, C has sent a message at 5th and B at 6th. E at the beginning of 10 seconds. How much distance has the robot traveled since the beginning of the day when it notices the message of E? Okay, तो पहले तुरंत उसको मैसेज आता है A और D का. So it goes 10 meters to A. Okay, speed of the robot is not important. We don't care. I mean, time का तो कुछ ये नहीं है, correct? तो 10 meters and then it reaches D in 40 meters. It comes back. It covers 80 meters. To cover this 80 meters, it takes 8 seconds. So when it goes back, it sees के B का message आया है, C और B का 5th second and B का 6th second. E का message आया नहीं है. So again it goes, right? It gives to B 20 meters, C another 10 meters, comes back. So that's another 60 meters. So 80 plus 60 travels 140 meters. Option A. Suppose there's a second station with raw material for the robot at the other extreme of the line, which is 60 meters from the origin. तो अभी अपना ये robot है. Then you have A, B, C, D, E, and finally you have another station. Okay. After finishing, the robot returns to the nearest station. If both stations are equidistant, it chooses the origin. अगर बीच में है तो it always comes here. Okay. So if assuming that both stations receive the messages sent by the machines and that all the other is assuming this, right? Now what would be the answer? तो पहले वो जाएगा, correct? A को देगा, D को देगा. It travels 40 meters. Once it finishes with D, it goes to the nearest station. It comes here. So in 60 meters, it reaches the station. So it now sees the message for C, right? And for B. So it goes back, it gives to C and B. And now the closest station is the origin, so it travels another 60 meters. And so totally it travels 120 meters. Right? Great, let's move on. So यहाँ पे there are variables plotted on graphs. X and f of x is plotted. And whenever f of x is equal to minus of f of minus x, then you mark option B, you mark option C if f of x is equal to f of minus x, right? Otherwise, you have these other options also to mark. So first, let's analyze B and C. When does this happen? Okay, f अगर x positive है या x negative है, f of x is going to look the same. That means it is going to have symmetry, right? A mirror image sort of symmetry. तो whether x है positive या x है negative, f of x दोनों का same है, correct? इसमें क्या हो रहा है कि f of x अगर x negative हो रहा है तो value भी negative हो रहा है. So if you make something like this, तो जब x negative हो रहा है तो ये value भी negative होके ऐसा कुछ बना. So there should be mirror plus water. Then you will mark B. ऑप्शन डी इज f of x is equal to 2 times f of minus x. तो अगर यहाँ पे पॉजिटिव में दिस इज हाउ इट बिहेव्स, तो नेगेटिव में इट विल बिकम अ लिटिल लेस स्टीप. करेक्ट कि नेगेटिव का 2 मल्टीप्लाई बाय 2 होके पॉजिटिव का. And similarly for f of x is equal to 3 times f of minus x. So great, let us now just find out कि कब true हो रहा है. First one, if we see guys whether x is negative or x is positive, f of x is the same value here. So यहाँ पे you will mark option C because f of x is the same as minus x. Okay. In this case, you can see a difference of it's doubling. F of 1 and f of minus 1. So f of 1 is 2, right? And f of minus 1 is 1. Okay. So if I just substitute here, 3 times f of x is 6 and 6 times, so this becomes equal. So this is going to be option D. Right? यहाँ पे if you see f of, let's take minus 4. That is plus 1. And f of plus 4 will be equal to minus 1. So actually this thing has to be here 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and this is 1, 2, 3. So then it will match perfectly. So यहाँ पे plus 1 आ जाएगा, यहाँ पे minus 1 आ जाएगा. So here you will mark option B. Right? Great guys, here are some bonus questions. A man is going to a car auction. All purchases must be paid for in cash. He goes to the bank and draws out 25,000. Since the man does not want to be seen carrying that much money, he places it in 15 envelopes numbered 1 through 15 so that he can count any amount using combinations of some envelopes. Each envelope contains the least number of bills possible of any available currency. Right? So you try and minimize the number of bills you put in. So we know guys कि जब भी हमें एक साइड से पैसा देना है, so we can't receive envelopes, we can only give envelopes. We have to work with powers of 2. And if you check, correct, you have 15 envelopes starting from 2 raised to 0 and let's say ending with 2 raised to 14. The sum is going to be 2 raised to 15 minus 1. So 2 raised to 15 guys is 2 raised to 10 is 1024. So it's 1024 into 32, which is more than 25,000. So ये हो जाएगा इसमें. If you put powers of 2, you'll be fine. Right? The possible currency denominations are so much. At the auction, he makes a successful bid of 8,000. मुझे भी कार्ड चाहिए 8,000 में. He hands envelopes 2, 8 and 14. So envelope N, right, has 2 raised to n minus 1 notes in. 2 raised to n minus 1 rupees in it. So second envelope में होगा 2 रुपया. 8th envelope में होगा 128 rupees. And 14th envelope में होगा 2 raised to 13 rupees. So if you add this up guys, it works out to 8192 plus 128 plus 2, तो अपना number exactly आ जाता है 8322. So how many 1 rupee notes? So we have to maximize. तो यहाँ पे 1 रुपी नोट्स होंगे 2, यहाँ पे 1 रुपी नोट्स होंगे 0. यहाँ पे सॉरी दिस विल बी अ 2 रुपी नोट, यहाँ पे भी 0, यहाँ पे 1 रुपी नोट्स होंगे 2. So answer is option 2, right? A traveler on his way to a certain village A reaches a road junction where he can turn left or right. He knows that one of the two roads leads to village A, but unfortunately he does not know which one. Fortunately, he sees two twin brothers standing at the road junction and he decides to ask them for directions. The traveler knows that one of the two brothers always tells the truth and the other one always lies. Unfortunately, he does not know which one always tells the truth and which one always lies. So, with which of the following questions can the traveler find out the way to village A by asking just this one question to one of the brothers? So, remember that the brother that he's asking the question to may be a truth speaker all the time and may be a false speaker all the time. So, which road? Let's look at one of this seems the easiest. Which road leads to village A according to your brother? So, let's say I'm asking it to the false guy. So, the true guy, राइट, लेफ्ट रोड जा रहा है मान लो, ट्रू गाय सोचेगा लेफ्ट, पर इसको तो झूठ बोलना है, तो अकॉर्डिंग टू योर ब्रदर लेफ्ट है तो बोलेगा राइट है. इफ इंस्टेड यू आस्क द ट्रू गाय अगर लेफ्ट रोड है, ओके, अगर लेफ्ट का रोड है तो फॉल्स वाला बंदा तो बोलेगा राइट का रोड है. एंड दिस गाय, ट्रू वाला गाय, अकॉर्डिंग टू योर ब्रदर, ही नोज दैट द ब्रदर लाइज, सो वो भी राइट बोलेगा. So the second option straight away always gives us the wrong answer. And you can use whatever answer is given by the brother, right? You can use that answer and just go to the opposite side. So second option works. So in both the cases, whether you're speaking to the guy who speaks the truth or whether you're speaking to the guy who speaks lies, you will get the wrong answer and you can use that. Yeah. Third question. ABCD is a rectangle with AB is equal to C. 6 है, 8 है. This is 10. QR is an arc which cuts the extension of AD. So this is A, B, C and D. इसको एक्सटेंड करके इसको भी एक्सटेंड करेंगे तो ये 2 सेंटीमीटर से एक्सटेंड होगा, ये 4 सेंटीमीटर से एक्सटेंड होगा और ऐसा करके you will have the arc passing through C. दोनों के एक्सटेंशन पे टच करके. So this happens with a radius of 10 centimeter and quarter circle. The arc is quarter of the circle. So radius 10 है तो 20 pi is your perimeter और उसका quarter आप लेंगे तो 5 pi is going to be the length of the arc. Next question. A cube is divided into 8 equal cubes. Each of these cubes is then divided into 8 equal cubes again. So basically you started off with a cube of side 4 and now you are left with cubes of side 1. If the original cube sides are painted blue, okay, so you are having 6 faces are blue. What is the probability that exactly 2 sides of a small cube is painted blue? So your cube जो है ना, when I cut it into one by one, correct? I'm now just looking at a particular face. तो ये सारे क्यूब्स का एक ही साइड पेंटेड होगा, ये क्यूब्स के 3 साइड पेंटेड होंगे, बिकॉज ये 3 कॉर्नर पे है ना, तो यहाँ का भी पेंट होगा, यहाँ का भी पेंट होगा, राइट, 3 पेंटेड होंगे। दीज आर द क्यूब्स जिसके 2 पेंटेड होंगे। So on a particular face, you will have 8 such cubes. 8 out of 16. Correct? Or a better way of looking at, because you're actually, you can't multiply this with 6 because this cube is the same as the cube on this side. So the other way of looking at it is okay, every edge has 2 such cubes. तो ये एज पे 2 है, ये एज पे 2 है, करेक्ट, ये एज पे 2 है, ये एज पे 2 है, और ऐसे 12 एजेस हैं. So you'll have 24 such cubes. So answer is going to be 24 out of 64, which is 3/8. First option. Next, balancing cards on one another where some are placed horizontally and others are diagonally is a popular trick. तो आप नीचे ऐसा कार्ड्स रखो, correct? This is how you make those. So you start with 4 horizontal cards at the base. 8 cards are then put diagonally. तो हर एक के ऊपर 2, right? नीचे का जो बेस है आपका वो 3 का है और ये हाइट है 12 का. तो हर एक का जो आपका हाइट है, राइट, हर एक ऐसे लेयर का हाइट विल बी 144 माइनस 9 का रूट, सो 135. और ऐसे हम कितने लेयर्स बना रहे हैं? स्टार्टिंग विद 8 कार्ड्स with 4 cards, sorry, at the bottom, and ending with 1 card on top, we have 4 such layers. So this is your overall height, right? You're more or less going to end up with a triangle. What is the base? Base है 3 into 4. And area is going to be base into height divided by 2. So answer is going to be 24 root of 135, जिसमें से आप 9 निकाल सकते हो, and it becomes 72 root 15. Correct? Next question. A man buys shares at a discount of rupees X. Later he sells all but 10 of the shares he purchased at a premium of rupees X. Investment है 4500. उसका सेल का वैल्यू आता है 6250. How did he get 6250? Because he sold total shares जो उसने खरीदे थे, right? Total minus 10 when he sold, he got 6250. So total minus 10 should divide 6250. So now total is given in the options. अगर 50 है तो 50 minus 10 40 does not divide 6250 that easily. 40 minus 10 30 तो does not, यहाँ तो fraction आ जाएगा. 60 minus 10 50 is best. 90 also will not work. 80 divide, you will get fractions. So now we'll try कि उसने खरीदा 60 shares और बेचा 50 shares. तो खरीदा 60 at the rate of 4500, that means he paid 75 rupees per share, और बेचा जो उसने 6250 पे, so he got 125. तो you can see कि face value 100 है, यहाँ पे 25 का डिस्काउंट, यहाँ पे 25 का प्रीमियम. So best is option 3. Right, next question. If all this is true, so इसको क्यूब करना है. X square minus 1 is equal to 5x. Let's cube it. So you get x raised to 6 is the first term. Second term is minus 3 into x raised to 4. Next term is 3 into x square plus 3 into x square, and minus 1 is equal to 125 into x cube. तो 1 x cube नीचे आ जाएगा, and you have x raised to 6 minus 1 over x cube. तो ये हमने अलग कर दिया. Minus 3 times x square. x square common है ना, minus. You are left with x square minus 1. This also is divided by x cube. So x square cancels off with x square, and you are left with x square minus x. X square minus 1 divided by x. This we know is equal to 5. So x raised to 6 minus 1 over x cube is equal to 125 plus 15, which is 140. Right? Next question. If a and b are the roots of this equation, then what is the value of all that? So what is all that? 1 minus of a plus b plus ab. When I expand this, what is ab? Product of the roots. What is ab here? It is 16. This is sum of the roots. So sum of the roots here is minus 10. So we put 1 minus of minus 10. So minus 10 into, it's minus b by a, so it's plus 10, right? So this becomes 16 minus 9, which is 7. Second option. So great, guys, here is your puzzle. 3 balls are placed inside a cone such that each ball is in contact with the edge of the cone and the next ball. You have to find the value of r, so do give it some thought, right? I'll see you again today evening when we will do the remaining maths questions. So till then, guys, you can catch me on Unacademy. I have a special class at 4:30 where we are discussing the TISNET paper. So as I said, right, we are doing a lot of test series, lot of papers and workshops, and I'll be there for the feedback for these workshops. So please don't hesitate. Come and join Unacademy. We have the best environment for learning. You get very good face time with the educator. Every 4th session, we have a doubt solving session. Correct? So there is great help for students with all this. So please don't hesitate. Subscribe to Unacademy. If you're focused on CAT 20, you're looking at doing your MBA in June 21, तो आप 12 महीने का प्रोग्राम के लिए सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. If you're confused between 20 and 21, if you may want to do your MBA a year later, then look at the 2-year subscription. You can use my code